This is Head Harvester Bill Arman from the West Coast, and this is our leadership series. This is where Ed LaFlamme, my partner, and I ask leaders from all around the world a certain set of questions. Today's question is, what would you tell people considering starting a landscape company in today's environment? What suggestions would you have for them? So listen carefully. If you're a startup company, this is some pretty good advice in here. We'll see you right after this.
Anybody that's new, wanting to start in the industry right now, I would suggest joining an ALP, first of all, immersing themselves in the education, talk to people, listen, surround themselves with smart people.
To start a business in today's economy, I think that it's just not enough to know technicals of that specific industry. You have to know business abroad, and you have to be very astute in business. Because I think we live in a society now that if you are not in tune to the finances of what business is all about, it's death. And I see this all the time. I'm associated with some industry, with some colleges, and one of my pet peeves is these kids are getting out of school and they don't have business practicale in whatever field they pursue, whether it's engineering, landscape design. Business is a vital source, and we're we're not a domestic country anymore. We're international, and you have to be smart enough to know what's going on around you.
Well, I would suggest that if you wanted to start a landscape in this economic times is be careful. If you start when times are good, you don't know what it's like when times get horrible. So I'm not saying things will get horrible again, but we're in a great economy right now. So I think people need to be prepared. People need to make sure that they're not overcommitting their resources, make sure they're appropriately capitalized. It's easy to make good money right now, but I think you got to invest it back into your business, because there will be times when you can't make as much money and you'll need those resources that we're gaining today.
What would we do if we were to start a business, or what would I tell someone if they were starting their own landscape business now? Be ready not to make a lot of money. If you want to grow, I don't think you're going to initially make a lot of money initially doing this. You're going to put a lot of money back into the business. Again, we've been doing it 13 years. We make good livings, but we don't take a lot of money out of the company. Most of it goes back into growth. And I think you just have to have, in the landscape management industry especially, you just have to have the long-term look. You're going to make a good living, but you're not going to get rich over the short term. I think over the long term, and of course the richness comes from, if it's all money you're thinking of, that's maybe in this for the wrong reason. If you like working with people, it's a great industry to be in.
That's a different question. From the perspective of the legal side and all the red tape that's involved with starting a company, I think when we started it, maybe I have a higher knowledge base now of all the red tape that's out there, and I was probably, when I first started, I didn't see that, but I do feel that there is a lot more red tape that we'd have to in order to be compliant, and all the insurance costs that are starting to rise and peak. So as you start your organization, you have to be bold and really just kind of push on those areas and take that risk. I do applaud these young folks that are coming out with that great passion. I think it's exciting to the industry, and I think it's something that you can do, but I think there's points of caution early on that you have to be fully aware of.
Be prepared for a challenge. This industry, it's a wonderful industry, but it is a challenging industry. The challenges are everywhere, whether it's weather, it's people, it's the economy. But really, it comes down to know your costs, know your product. Don't be afraid to charge for your costs and your time and who you are and your value. And then to always remember, there's plenty of work out there for everybody. Don't sell yourself short.
So those are some pretty good answers to that question, weren't they? I hope you wrote some notes down, and this will help you a tremendous amount.